The best even balance racket I've ever tested just got better. This is Li-Ning's Halbertec 9000 Power, and I have a lot to say about this racket. Before we get into the main video, press all the buttons on whatever platform you're on. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Help grow the channel. It's free. Takes you 10 seconds. I'm waiting. Press all the buttons, okay? Back to the video. Back to the review. So let's start with some background, right? So the Halbertech series is like Li-Ning's even balance control lineup, from my understanding, right? And the reason why this is an interesting racket is because it's a control series racket. It's an upgrade to the last generation's flagship, the 9000. And the way they decided to signify that this is the new one is not by saying generation 2, is not by saying Li-Ning 9000 Pro, is by saying power, which was a bit confusing because, right, this is a control series, why are we looking at power? And I think it's because Li-Ning was listening to complaints about the 9000. Everyone was saying, yeah, this is pretty good everywhere except in power. So a lot of people said they preferred the 8000 for power just because it's a bit flexier. I've never tried the 8000, so I can't speak on it directly. But I guess there was enough people complaining about it that Li-Ning decided that in their next generation of Halbertechs, they were going to make the flagship more power focused, if you will. So I still don't know any specs. I haven't looked at any specs. But I will say that the one thing that caught me off guard right away was that there is like kind of like a, I don't know if you can see. I'm too lazy to switch lenses and zoom in. You're just gonna have to believe me if you guys can't see. But there is like a power assist bumper. That's Yonex's marketing term, sorry. But there is some kind of weighted grommet at the top here. I don't know if this is just for stability. It could be a control assist bumper. It could be for weight. I don't know. I'll have to look it up later. But there is something here. And to answer everyone's question, this does hit harder than the original. But let's talk about it first. So hitting wise, the first time I picked this up freshly strung, right? As always, I've been using Exbolt 68 on the mains, Exbolt 63 on the crosses, 26 by 28, no pre-stretch. The first thing I noticed was that this has a stiffer string bed than the original. Now, again, for me, the stiffness on the string bed is a spectrum. You have normal rackets, and then you have NanoFlirt 800 Pro stiffness, right? And then you have like hundreds Hyphonic 7, which was quite a stiff string bed as well for me. I think this is just a tad softer than hundreds Hyphonic 7, which was another control-based racket with quite a stiff string bed. I assume this is 76 holes. I don't know. I didn't count. But what this gets you, this stiffer string bed, is one, you're going to get better feedback on the soft blocks, especially in the midcourt, on the net shots, right? You're also going to get a firmer surface to push against when you drive. For me, I think my tastes have changed a bit, and I do prefer like a slightly stiffer string bed for these reasons exactly. So when I picked this up and it had that stiffer string bed, I was quite excited to see how it would play moving forward, right? The second thing I noticed on this racket was the whip. The whip is so addicting. Like, even though this is an even balance racket, the whip and I guess the hitting sound and feel when you're smashing is lovely. Like, I have not produced sounds from a racket like I have with this racket. So maybe that's, you know, part of the power upgrade. I don't know. In terms of the actual feel of like the actual weight and oomph of the smash, I would say I feel that these are a bit heavier than with the original 9000. And I'm not sure why. It's been a long time since I held the original 9000, so I can't tell you with definitive, I guess, definitive certainty that this has, you know, the same stiffness as the original or the same head weight as the original. But I can definitely tell you that just from holding it and playing with it, it does feel relatively the same. So I'm assuming that maybe the head weight has shifted slightly head heavy, or it has something to do with this grommet this unique grommet thing up here, or maybe new materials. I don't really know, honestly. But when we talk about performance, as always, you know, I start from the front and move my way back. So that's how we're going to do this. So front court, let me backtrack. This is an even balanced racket. So its reviews everywhere are going to be generally positive. And I will wait till the end to tell you the negatives. So now let's start. In the front court, we are maneuverable, right? This isn't going to have as much punch as, say, like my Hard Hitter Pro, which is compact and head heavy, right? But this gets the job done. It's fast, right? You can bring this racket up. The shaft is stiff enough that you are going to not have to deal with, you know, any head lag or head delay. You can follow up shots pretty quickly, right? You can kill the shot. It does everything you want. The real area this shines is in, like, I guess, redirection. That's the word you're going to hear me say a lot in this review, I think. Redirection, meaning if, for example, you're playing, like, you know, 2 shots straight and then the third shot comes back up, you can play it cross really quickly. Like, this racket is so maneuverable. It's so nimble in the hands, right? It's not necessarily an aerodynamic racket. It's just easy to manipulate. It's easy to control what you want to do with it, right? You can play crazy angles. You can quickly neutralize situations. You can up the pace, slow the pace. And I think that's the player that this is for, like the big-brained IQ 9000 player. Anyways, in terms of, you know, control, obviously this Halbertech racket is going to do phenomenal, whether that's, you know, double long nets and trying to get the net cord or single spinning types, right? No complaints anywhere, except I guess on like the really heavy kills. But again, honestly, that's me like grasping at straws. When the shuttle is like slow and high above the net, it doesn't really matter what racket you're using. A kill is going to kill and end the point most of the time. So I don't really ding off points there. In the midcourt, right? Absolute beast, right? Redirection at its max, right? You could mid-control, right? It's very easy to hold and then suddenly play a cross drop, right? It's easy to push it past the front court player. Absolute dream. Absolutely delicious to use this in midcourt, right? You lift when you want to with this racket, basically. That's how I would put it, right? You never, at least for me, I never felt pressured. I never felt like I only had one option in situation. Even if they were like fast body shots at me, I felt confident enough to quickly diffuse, quickly push it to the side. If they, you know, played a good mid-court shot and I had to take it quite low underneath the net, I never felt like I had to just immediately lift, right? I felt like I had enough touch, enough nimbleness, enough control to either try to play a sneaky cross shot, to either push it straight and keep it relatively flat, or do more of an aggressive yet flat like lift, right? Even on the defense, right? I could play a fast lift, and even if they caught it early, I could have my racket ready up and play a soft block and diffuse the situation immediately, right? Cannot say enough good things about this in the midcourt, right? This is this racket's strongest area by far and by none, okay? The rear court, right? I spoke earlier about the whip. You're definitely going to get that, right? I'm going to probably, if I'm not lazy, find a few clips of me like playing with this racket. But again, right, you're not getting this racket to smash, right? And I'll save this for the verdict. You are getting this racket because you win points by playing a variety of shots, forcing the short lift, and then ending it on the short lift, right? Again, the same characteristics that enable this to be really good in the midcourt, that is how you have to play in the back as well. Like, if you buy this racket and you expect to just, oh, because it says power, I'm just going to smash, you know, straight the same area enough times until it comes back short, or it goes into the net and we win the point that way, right? You are going to have a miserable time with this racket, or you can just be very tired, right? The rear court, and you're also not using this racket's potential, right? The best way to use this racket in the rear court is to have a ton of variety, right? Slice drops, stop drops, stick smashes, like, right, fast slices, right, shots in the middle, shots cross, right, shots straight, right, you need to be very proactive and very like mentally thinking about, okay, what can I play that isn't a smash, until the lift becomes mid-court, and then you kill it, right? Because while this does have the word power in it, it's really not that strong. Like, it's still lacking quite a bit, in my opinion, actually, right? And you'll see, like, there's plenty of clips, again, if I decide to include them, is like where I'm having a great time smashing just because the whip sounds good, but the actual smashes themselves are really not that threatening or that heavy. I am producing better smashes definitively with when I'm using the APACS Hard Hitter Pro 6.4, but you'll see in the rallies where I think, okay, I need to either control the rally or, you know, play a few clever shots, get a short lift, and then I'll smash, it performs wonderfully. I think the amount of offense this was improved by was enough that where if the lift is short, you can finish it pretty certainly. But this isn't like, okay, they play a good lift and you can just start attacking, right? I don't know if that makes sense. Let me like rephrase. So like, let's say it's the start of the rally, your partner serves, and the opponent starts with a lift, and this is a good lift, right? You should not be smashing that first lift, like any time, right? You should be playing a fast drop or a stick smash, right? You should be working the rally, trying to get somewhat of a shorter lift, and then even from there, this racket still is going to reward smart play over strong play, right? I hope that makes sense. So, Verdict, who is this racket for? This racket, I think, is for the player who I want to be, but I don't think I am. So, what I mean by that is, I want to be that super 300 IQ player that finds all the gaps and plays through intelligence. But honestly, I realized that the more I train, like in Malaysia, the physically stronger and, like, you know, the better my fundamentals get, like the simpler my game becomes, right? I'm winning more and more points through speed and power, rather than intelligence, right? Because it's simpler and it's also more consistent. To play an intelligent play style, you need to have lots of experience, which I still don't have. So maybe one day in like 10 years, where I'm, you know, much smarter and, you know, my technique is more refined and my physicality is better, then I might really like a racket like this where I can consistently finish points off with one ending smash. But where I am right now, and my play style, it's not. Little side rant, but yeah, this is for that player who can play like that, who is big brained, who is, you know, risky, who can bait their opponents, who likes control, I guess. With that being said, though, this is phenomenal. I truly love this racket. This gets really high praise from me. As always, Li-Ning has beautiful paint. I like the color on this one as well. But yeah, just not for me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.